Hi students, it's Miss Bale from English 3, and I'm going to be showing you how to annotate a historical document. The first one that we're working with is the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson way back in 1776. So what you will see on your Google Classroom is an assignment. I'm using Kami to show you how to annotate. So you will see this assignment. You click on the document, and it will tell you in the upper right corner to open it with Kami. So that's what we're going to do. And you will see this software that has all these different tools in it to help you make notes on the document. Okay, so what I'm going to do is really try to annotate things that either I'm confused about, maybe, vocabulary words. So I've highlighted a couple of them here, and all I did there is go to markup, and it's my text highlighter, and I can choose whatever color I want. So I think for the vocabulary words, I'm going to stick with yellow. And that is how I got these highlighted here. If I have an issue with a word, I need to look this word up. It's highlighted already, so now I can just go to dictionary and click on the word, and it will explain to me which one of those definitions makes sense for this particular document. Right now, we're not talking about dissolving in liquid. We know that. The noun form is not the one we want. It is to close down or dismiss, get rid of, basically, cancel it. Okay, so the declaration starts off with this first little introductory statement. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So again, there's that word impel. I'm unsure of what that is. So I hit my dictionary, highlight the word, and it tells me something about that word to help me understand. Declare the causes. I made a note over here. He is going to tell us why he's writing this document. How did I do that? So I highlighted it, and then I just clicked on my comment here, and I can make a text comment, an audio, a voice comment, or a video comment. So you can just do that by clicking on the text one. Will give you that window right here to type in your comment. Sometimes we may ask you to do an audio or voice comment, or we might ask you to do a video comment. So if you did click on audio, you would record your message, whatever maybe we ask you a question and you need to answer through an audio, or the video will open up your camera. So just be aware of that. Okay. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Well, maybe I don't know what the word endowed means. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to go to dictionary. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. Highlight first. I want to track how I'm tracking my vocabulary by highlighting those problematic words for myself. So endowed, what does it mean? To give or bequeath an income or property, to establish by donating the funds needed, to provide with a quality, ability, or asset. Okay, so it's really that are given. In this particular situation, it means to give. They are these rights. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. They are given to us by our Creator. So remember, a couple hundred years ago, people were very religious. Pretty much everybody did believe in God. And so, but it may not be, it could be any sort of higher power. That's why they use creator. So it doesn't sound so religious. They don't say by God here in this part anyways. So we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and they are endowed or they're given by the Creator with certain unalienable rights. Unalienable rights. Let's see what the dictionary says about that. Not subject to be taken away from or given away by the possessor. So these are things that cannot be taken away from us. I'm going to highlight that because it was a word I was struggling with. So you can see that the first kind of run through that I would do with my document is I would be highlighting words that are unclear to me. And that I want to get a definition of those words immediately so that I can really understand, what is being said. So I'm not going to continue highlighting every single word that I come across because I want to get to some other parts of annotation. So we have unalienable rights that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute a new government. So there I'm starting to get the purpose of why Thomas Jefferson is writing this. He is going to start telling us why they want to separate from the king of Great Britain. So remember, at this time in history, we have colonies. We do not have states yet. We don't have a real country yet. They're colonized all on the East Coast. People from Britain came over, right? So they are tired of the king and they're about to tell us why. They're going to give us all these reasons why they are sick of him. So we would continue reading along. And keep in mind, this is language from a couple hundred years ago. So it's very formal. It's highly educated language. Thomas Jefferson was a very highly educated man. So at the end of this paragraph, he's going to start listing the reasons of why they're upset. So he says, to prove this, let the facts be submitted to a candid world. So what you're going to see is that every time he uses the word he's talking about the King of England. Comment. He is, okay, whenever you see the pronoun he, this refers to the King of England, okay? Whoops. Okay. I want to try to keep this video fairly short, so that's how you would do that. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden. He has refused. He has called together, blah, blah, blah. He has dissolved. He has refused, and so on. And you see how there's a whole list of things that Thomas Jefferson and the people that were in support of this, George Washington, John Adams, all those guys, the founding fathers, we call them. This is his style of rhetoric where he is repeating, Thomas Jefferson is repeating this parallel structure where he keeps starting off with the pronoun he. And then he switches to the preposition for. So here I'm just showing you the style and how Thomas Jefferson laid this out. So as I'm reading it, I'm still going to be highlighting those words that I am not sure about. So, you know, keep in mind that you want to do that throughout. So the word tyranny, maybe I need to look that up and understand what that is. So I'm going to go to markup and I'm going to highlight the word tyranny. And I'm, again, going to keep all my vocab in one color. So you choose the color. And remember to, if you want to look up the word, you click on tyranny, you click on dictionary, and click on tyranny, and it'll give you the definition, which is really nice because sometimes if there's a lot of words that we're not understanding as we're reading, the document can become very confusing for us. So make sure you use that tool as much as you need to. So as you're going through it, we're also looking at persuasive language. And we had some lessons on ethos, logos, pathos last year or in your sophomore year. So ethos, logos, pathos, those are those rhetorical appeals where they're persuasive techniques. And he's using some of these in the document to be, so he can be persuasive. Because this document is going to be sent to the king. King is going to read this. And so I'm looking for strong language. So the assignment is to really highlight some vocabulary words that you're unsure about, highlight strong language. So now I'm going to choose a different color. Maybe I'm going to go to markup, and I'm going to start marking up some verbs. I'll use green. Hello, green. Green. I want green. Okay. And I'm just going to go down this and start highlighting really strong words. Oh, utterly neglected. Refused. He's refused. And anytime you hear the word tyranny, any form of tyranny, tyrants, tyrannical, that's extremely strong inflammatory language. He's calling him a tyrant. You know, he's calling him basically like a dictator. He's a king, so yeah, that's how kings operate. I'm going to highlight some more interesting or strong language to start to pull out some of the pathos, which is the appeal to emotion. He has obstructed administration of justice. That's always a serious accusation. So again, I'm not going to go through every little single thing right now because I don't want to be here for an hour doing this. You guys will get bored and fall asleep, and we don't want that. He's protecting people by not really giving them punishment for murder. So the king is protecting his own people when they break the law. For cutting off our trade, for imposing taxes without our consent, or depriving us. See, I'm looking for language that's really, he's really making strong accusations. So I'm looking for those kind of really strong verbs and adjectives. Thomas Jefferson's using things like taking away, depriving us, without our consent, and so on. plundered our seas, ravaged our, okay, listen to this. Plundered, ravaged, burnt, destroyed. That whole phrase right there, destroyed the lives of our people. This is an appeal to pathos, which is an appeal to emotion in the audience. So when the audience reads this, they're going to be thinking, this king is terrible, and here's why. So again, I'm looking at those strong word choices that establishes pathos, appeal to emotion. There's a lot of very formal language, and it also sounds, very like legalistic, like a lawyer would speak. And so we do not expect you to completely comprehend every little part of this. This is really just getting you warmed up to the document that we will be discussing further in class. So we want you to be familiar with the document, go through and find, some words that you don't understand, highlight those. Also, in a different color, highlight really strong word choices. Like right now, the word cruelty is popping out at me. Where to go? Okay, and repeated injury. Okay, I'm going to highlight that in green. Oh, unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Whoops. Okay, so if you make a mistake, actually, I'll just highlight that whole thing. It's all good. It's all very strong language. So he's listing all the reasons why they want to separate. And at the very end, he says, we, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, they are now claiming America as the United States. They're getting rid of the colonies. They're going to start naming the states now on the East Coast. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world. Okay, the Supreme Judge of the world, guys, is a euphemism for the Creator or God. Okay. Do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. So their argument, this is their argument. They are arguing for their freedom. And they're absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. So we no longer are under control. We have said, we're done with you. We don't want any part of you, King of England. And they're declaring this in an extremely strong way. And notice at the very end, the very last sentence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So they're all banding together. They're all in agreement. The people living in the colonies, this is what they want to do. So what we want you to do is just get used to using Cami and play around with the different annotation tools on the side here. Also, we will be giving you that particular assignment of highlighting some keywords that you are having difficulty with understanding the meaning, making sure you use the dictionary to look those words up. And you will have, there's a number of them that you may have to look up. Let's just go for like 10 words that you want to really understand the meaning of. Okay, so we don't expect you to highlight every single word that you're struggling with. So in another color, then we're also going to ask you to be highlighting very strong word choices, strong verbs, and that's that appeal to pathos, remember. So we're really focusing on the organization of how the text is laid out, the repetition that he uses in using the word he over and over, and the verbs are in past tense. You'll notice that he has refused, he has forbidden, He has called, he has dissolved. So it's a certain style of writing that is called a rhetorical device. So I want you to make sure you're highlighting those keywords that are really strong and showing pathos. That's showing some, basically what kind of tone is being created here through those word choices. And we'll discuss that in class. Okay, so give this a try. And this is my first screencastify, so forgive me if it isn't perfect, but I do hope that you at least can see how to navigate Kami and play around with these different options over here. And I think for now, we're going to just go with the two different colors, one for vocabulary and one for that strong language that has to do with pathos. I'm going to make a comment over here. This example of pathos. And that is the appeal to emotions of the audience. So whoever's reading this document. Okay. And I think that's it for now. We will, expect you to come into class with this finished, with your document highlighted, and you've made some comments on it. Maybe you have some questions about it. You can put a comment in, remember, by clicking on that box there, or you can do an audio comment or a video comment. Those are not required, but you can make text comments on the side like I did for this particular assignment. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.